Welcome to Sipping Success, the ultimate podcast for all things beverage and alcohol. We are here to quench your thirst for insights, analysis, and a splash of entertainment. Get ready to dive into the world of beverages with us. From the latest trends to in-depth discussions with industry leaders, we've got it all covered. Whether you're a connoisseur or a curious sipper, Sipping Success is your go-to guide. Join us as we uncork knowledge, raise a glass to innovation, and help you elevate your brand to new heights. So grab your favorite drink, sit back, and let's sip success together. Tune in to Sipping Success and drink in the wisdom. Cheers.
Welcome, everybody, to the Sipping Success podcast. I'm your host, Casey Haakinson. We're joined with guest Vincent Melita. He is the founder and partner of Root Out Whiskey. And Root Out Whiskey, in case you're curious, is a blend of the finest root beer, flavoring, and extensively aged Canadian blended whiskey that is aged for 4 years in American oak barrels, from bourbon generating rich root beer flavor with a hint of vanilla. So that already is whetting our appetite over here. Vincent, thanks for joining us here on the podcast. And along with Root Out Whiskey, can you share with us your history, your background in the industry?
Yeah, well, it goes back many years, actually. I started originally, as a consumer, obviously, but then I got into the business, and I was in food and beverage, being a beverage director and beverage manager, bartender in college. And then when I moved back east to Connecticut, I was approached by a gentleman from Otter Creek Brewing Company, where I started as an area manager and then worked my way up to regional manager with them in the craft beer industry before venturing over to wines and spirits with Allied Domecq. Then when they sold to Pernod Ricard, I worked for Moet Hennessy for about 6 years. And then after I left Moet, I worked for a company called Hood River Distillers. And actually, it was with them that I actually came up with the idea of the Root Out Whiskey when we launched a brand called Sinfire that was competing with Fireball. I mean, this is back in 2011, 2012. What's that? 11, 12 years ago now. And I thought of the opportunities with flavored whiskeys. I then worked for Soralis before venturing out on my own with the idea of Root Out Whiskey, and found and met my partner Artie Dezortsev, and then we brought the brand to market actually in 2018. We're currently in 15 states and growing, and we just recently launched in Canada earlier this year as well, in the Alberta region, where Wine and Beyond brought us in. So.
Okay, well, great. And so can you kind of walk us through, like, personally what led to Root Out Whiskey? Did you develop a personal passion around whiskey? Is that kind of a favorite of yours? Just kind of tell us a little bit more of the genesis on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do prefer drinking whiskey myself, but I just saw the opportunity in the category as far as what was happening within flavored whiskey, and I'm a personal root beer lover, so I grew up drinking root beer and sarsaparilla, cream sodas, and stuff like that. So I just thought it would be a natural fit. And when I came up with our formula, I went through and tasted many different formula renditions when creating it, and then came upon the one that we now own. And came up with the idea of root as Root Out, the name based on being a root beer flavored whiskey, and it was a natural fit. Plus, Root Out itself, the definition means seek to discover. So I'm hoping that consumers go out and seek to discover and enjoy, absolutely responsibly, of course.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, for sure. And so within our audience, there's a lot of people, obviously, that are just very passionate on the business side, wine and spirit, and alcohol and beverage. So I think we'll take a little bit of a turn here. I think a lot of people would maybe be interested in your business strategy. So you said you're a available in 15 states. You've opened up Alberta as a province in Canada.
Mhm.
So can you walk us through right now your overall strategy?
So right now, our overall strategy is really to grow our brands in our core markets where we have family partner distributors in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut,
Mhm.
which is where our uh, majority of our distribution and volume is coming from, and that's where we're most of our resources because it's our backyard. We're being a little bit more selective on markets that we enter. I mean, ones that we can really um, you know give resources to launch, develop, and grow the brand because it does take a lot to bring brands to market. I mean, you could have the best brand in the world if you're not marketing it properly, no one's going to know about it.
Mhm.
So, we do a lot of tastings, in-store tastings, events, festivals, but I mean, obviously that requires a lot of time and weekends and stuff. So it's really a labor of love because you have to really love what you're doing to devote the amount of time, effort, energy, resources, and dollars into it. Because it's very challenging, especially us where we're a very small company still. It's just myself, my partner, and a few friends and family who've given us the seed money for it. But every penny we've been generating from the sale of Root Out is going back into building the brand and obviously creating more inventory, more point of sale,
Mhm.
doing more tastings, and um, it's we're seeing great signs of it. I mean, that's the one thing that I always love is when we go to tastings and people keep coming up to us and saying, this is the best stuff I've had all day. And we're at a
Mhm.
festival with, hundreds of other brands there. And, they're making it a point to come back for, seconds, thirds, fourths, tenths, whatever. Again, small samples, very responsible. But,
Responsible, yeah.
but, um, but you know what I'm saying, as far as, I mean,
Yeah.
people love it. I mean, it's, the people who love root beer love it. We do get, those who are not, but we have people who are like, who tell us, they don't drink whiskey, but they'll love root out because they like root beer. And,
Mhm.
they don't, and some people who are like, we don't even like root beer, but we love this because it's really full flavored and it's delicious. There's a lot of versatility to it as well because we mix it with ginger ale, which makes it taste like cream soda, or
Mhm.
we pour it over vanilla ice cream and make amazing root beer floats with it.
Wow. So there's a wide fan base that could be opened up with that. That's it.
Yeah.
That's interesting with the different, mixing it with ginger ale. But then I think it's really interesting that you're hitting both whiskey drinkers and non-whiskey drinkers both like it. So that's great. And I see that you all started in 2017 and went to market, if I'm not mistaken, in 2018.
Correct.
So can you talk to any adaptations or any changes that you've had to make even from that short time period?
Well, yeah, actually, yes. I mean, we actually had to, you know, uh, go and trademark the actual name and change the labels on it slightly
Hmm.
before bringing it to market because we didn't think our trademark would get approved. So we had to make a slight change and then changed our label. So we had to take off all the labels on the bottles before we put the new ones to market.
Oh,
Um, yeah,
was
again, it's
was that kind of a change at midnight just before they
pretty
were
much, yeah,
out?
yeah,
Really?
it was absolutely. But we got through it, and now we were very happy with the way it came out. I mean, the label was actually designed by a gentleman who had a hand in some of Hennessy's um, labels and has worked in the industry before. So, we have our Cerberus, which is our three-headed dog, on the label. That is trademarked as well. So, we've really been trying to make sure we protect our assets as well. So.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure even a lot of small business owners in our audience can empathize with or have been in a similar situation to what you have been with trademarking or having to change something last minute before going to market.
Mhm.
Can you also maybe share with us some tools or tactics you're using right now that's helping you all grow?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing that's helping us grow is just getting our liquid to lips, getting the product out
Mhm.
there, and having people taste it. And that's why I mean, I myself I mean, I do in-store tastings myself still, multiple times a week, or events, or not only trade events but consumer events. I mean, that's, again, we're doing this all organically and grassroots. We don't have six-figure or 7-figure or even six-figure marketing budgets
Mhm.
to get the brand out there. And I feel if we did, we would be the next screwball, and
Mhm.
or get up there with the fireball. But well, until that day comes along, or the brand takes off, well, we're going to keep plugging away. But the one thing that I set out to do when I originally created the brand was to make sure it's not another same old when it comes to whiskey, flavored whiskeys. I mean,
Mhm.
Fireball was your quote unquote the original, but how many other cinnamon whiskeys came to market? I mean, like I said, when I
Yeah.
was with Hood River Distillers, we came out with Sinfire, and I was like, Fireball has already got, and this was a long time ago when Fireball was already getting the lion's share of the market, and
Mhm.
trying to compete against that was very, very challenging. And then a lot of other cinnamon whiskeys came out to the market, with Inferno, or other, you
Yeah.
name it, Jackfire. I mean, it's so many other brands, even craft distilleries and are, are coming out with like Blaze cinnamon whiskey. And I'm like, that's, it's really hard to convert, you know, established brands to, bring over to yours if it's the same flavor. So I wanted to make sure we did something different. And that's where I'm a fan of root beer, and I think, I hope other people who try it like it too.
This podcast is brought to you by Mushroom Media, the go-to digital media agency for all things marketing. From crafting captivating campaigns to decoding social media sorcery, Mushroom Media is here to empower your brand and help you scale. So whether you're brewing, distilling, or concocting the next big thing, Mushroom Media has a solution for you.
Yeah, and when you're at those tastings, if we go back to the beginning of even just this podcast and I described your mixture, do people resonate with that narrative around the whiskey where it's blended in American oak barrels? I got to think that that's also helping you be a differentiator, or not.
Well, absolutely. I mean, because we use a proper aged whiskey as our base spirit, it really lends to the smoothness of it. I can't even tell you how many times people who drink it and try it and are just like, wow, that's one of the smoothest whiskeys I've ever had. It's
Mm.
because it is still 70 proof alcohol, but people tell me that it's you know they use the term dangerous, but because it's so easy to drink,
Yeah.
it is almost like drinking root beer, but it does still have a obviously slight kick to it, as it is 35% alcohol, 70 proof. But again, people keep coming back for more at these events, and they love it. And when I show them the versatility of it, they're just like, wow. And when I tell them, you just need a small amount of even ginger ale to change the taste profile to make it taste like cream soda. Everyone's
Mhm.
people like it, and then obviously the root beer floats get them, and
Yeah.
they're like, wow, this is amazing. So
Yeah. And so have you noticed, like, with being on sale in 15 states, have you noticed any trends lately? Like, are you particularly popular during holiday season, or can you talk to us about that?
well, during the holidays, is when a majority of people are buying their annual consumption or annual amount of alcohol. So we do see peaks in the holidays, but one thing that we have been seeing more and more recently is we're getting more bars and restaurants
Mm.
to take us on. As we launched in really 2018, we didn't have a lot of time before COVID came and shut down to establish an on-premise presence.
Hmm.
So that was something we pivoted towards, and strictly did a lot of retail tastings, a lot of trying to get distribution, and obviously we want to make sure that we're in the flavored whiskey section. So a lot of it was also educating our trade partners to make sure that they're putting together flavored whiskey sections in the retail trade, because originally Fireball was in the cordial section with Jägermeister and
Mhm.
Kahlua and all those other cordials, and more accounts are actually putting it out there with the whiskey, and that's where we want to be now with Screwball and
Mhm.
the 10 or 15 other peanut butter whiskeys that came to market, similar to what happened when cinnamon became popular. You know, um, that's what's going on now. So,
Do you see any other flavored concepts taking steam right now?
no, I mean, we do get a lot of people who tell us that they tried Screwball, and they like Root Out. It might be their new favorite, but it's there. There's a lot of great brands out there, and I just hope that root beer becomes one that people gravitate towards, because
Yeah.
a few years back, this was another reason why when I came up with it, because the Not Your Father's root beer
Uh,
came out in like 2015, 2016, and that's when boozy root beer became very, very popular. So it's only natural that hopefully it elevates to the spirit based.
and then you mentioned the pandemic, and I think we'd all be interested to know, like, let's talk about any challenges or obstacles you've faced and overcome as a young brand. Can you kind of enlighten us on that?
Well, it was very challenging. I mean, here we were, I was myself doing, two, three, sometimes four tastings every weekend
Wow.
pre-pandemic, and then it just stopped. But the great thing is that a lot of the stores that I was doing tastings in for the last little over a year, uh, the brand started gaining traction, and I was getting reorders from these accounts when I wasn't even in there doing tastings, which I was
Okay.
very pleasantly surprised with. But then there were also some that that I wasn't doing tastings with, and I saw that sales went off a little bit. But then once tastings became acceptable to go out, and people were not hesitant. I mean, it's you know, still people do hesitate sometimes, but it's
Mhm.
all individual preference. And my thing is, I just want people to try it. Whether they purchase it or not at an in-store event, it's I just want them to at least try it and experience it. So, if they don't purchase it, then hopefully they can purchase it down the road, or tell a friend. I always say, tell
Yeah.
your friends if you like it. Tell your friends, please.
And to that end right there, can you share with us any partnerships or collaborations that you've formed that have helped out?
Still in discussions with doing like a root out jerky and a root out ice cream
Ah,
with to do like a root beer float ice cream. People are asking us to put the the adult cream soda, the root out cream soda in a ready to drink or a can. But going back to what we discussed before, when I tell people to tell their friends, I always tell them to also like us on our social media. We're on Facebook, um, Instagram, and now X, I guess it's
yeah.
is to
Even
follow us and
better.
like us, and
Yeah,
tell your friends about us, because I mean, it's one thing to get an advertising and have people see it there, but to have someone that they know and trust tell them about something that they like, that always makes me happy. And I know I always refer to other people's opinions, people I trust, of course.
that's great. So
Yeah,
remember that, folks. Root Out Whiskey on Facebook, Instagram, and X.
correct.
And so we'll be excited to start following you there. Just in case you forgot, you've been listening to Sipping Success Podcast. I'm your host, Casey Haakinson, and we've got our guest, Vincent Melita, here with us. He is the founder and partner of Root Out Whiskey. So, sadly, we're getting kind of toward the end of the conversation here. A couple last questions for you here, Vincent. What advice would you give to somebody kind of up and coming in the industry, or somebody like yourself that wants to branch out and start their own brand?
I would say, obviously make sure you your expectations are in line with the amount of work you want to put into it, because it is not easy. I mean, unless you have a war chest, it is a lot, especially not only getting into the distribution with the big national distributors, but even the smaller ones now are being very selective on the brands that they bring in. So you want to make sure you have something that obviously the juice is in the bottle, but also sets you apart from other brands in the category, because you want to have a point of differentiation when you talk to your trade partners, and give them a reason to bring you in, of course.
Yeah, give that compelling reason in that value proposition. That's good.
Absolutely.
And Vincent, if anybody wants to reach out with you, either it be with a question or wanting to partner, what's the best way to do that?
They can reach out to me directly on my email. It's Vincent at Root Out Whiskey. We spell whiskey without the E, so it's Vincent at Root Out Whiskey, ROOTOUTWHISKY.com.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, good note there. Whiskey without the E.
Because it's Canadian whiskey, that's why we use.
Oh, that's right. Okay, well, that's very clever too. That's great. You'll catch a lot of fans probably that way too. As you grow in Alberta and all those other provinces. So, well, yeah, exactly. Well, thanks for being our guest. It's been really fascinating talking with you here on Sipping Success. I'm your host, Casey Haakinson. You have been listening to our guest, Vincent Melita, again, founder and partner of Root Out Whiskey. Vincent, thanks again. And thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, thank you for enjoying Sipping Success.
And that's a wrap on another insightful episode of Sipping Success, brought to you by Mushroom Media. We hope our discussions have left you thirsting for more knowledge in the world of beverages and alcohol. Stay connected with us on social media for updates. And remember, the journey to success is best enjoyed one sip at a time. Keep exploring trends, connecting with leaders, and scaling your brand. Until our glasses meet again, cheers to your continued success. And may your cups always runneth over with inspiration. We'll catch you in the next episode.